They say the ocean never forgets. Well, neither do I. The wind's got that old Atlantic bite in it this morning, the kind that makes your coffee taste stronger and your memories a little sharper. I'm telling you, every day I sit out here on this creaky old rocking chair, the same one my granddad built before half these houses even existed. I look out at the gulls screaming their heads off like they're running some kind of racket, and I think, hell, everything might change, but this place, this little slice of salt and cedar, it's mine. And not in the I signed some papers way, no, I mean mine in my blood and my bones, built by hands I used to hold when I was a boy. Now this cabin, it's stubborn, worn out in places, hurricane scars and all, but it stood here long before Shoreline Vista's pastel palaces ever squatted over these dunes. My granddad raised it up back in the 50s, just a hurricane-hardened one-bedroom fort with wraparound decks and a view that'll punch you right in the heart. He wrote private on the deed in block letters, registered the shoreline rights, even drew the survey map himself. I keep all that locked up in a fireproof box next to my discharge papers, and the Mossberg he left me call me sentimental, but you don't toss away your family's life work just because some plastic-smiled realtor tries to wave a check in your face. For 12 years that HOA over the dunes has grown like black mold. At first they ignored me. I guess my shack didn't fit the brochure. But last week, everything changed. It started with a knock-sharp impatient, the kind that says, "I'm not asking, I'm telling." I open my door and there she is, Karen Brooks, president of Shoreline Vista Homeowners Association, looking like a Botox ad in a pantsuit. She steps onto my porch like she owns it already, scanning my property like she's pricing it for scrap. "Mr. Carter," she says, oozing fake warmth. "We're looking to expand the beach access corridor and, well, your land complicates things." She hands me this glossy, color-coded folder like it's a golden ticket. Inside, an offer $72,000, all cash, quick closing. They'll even handle the teardown. I nearly choked. I said, "You could offer $700,000 and I still wouldn't sell. This house has been here longer than your subdivision's been alive." Her smile twitched like she'd bitten a lemon. "I understand sentimentality," she says, but really she means, "We're taking this whether you like it or not." Leaves her card, says they're moving forward with or without me, then marches off my porch with that click-clack confidence only people who've never been punched in the mouth can pull off. A couple days later, I find a cream-colored envelope taped to my gate. HOA seal, no signature, just this typed-up notice saying I have 24 hours to vacate or face enforcement actions. I just laugh short, cold, the kind of laugh you give to a coyote sniffing around your chicken coop. It wasn't legal, not even close, but it was a threat. Only cowards send unsigned threats. Problem is, I've been shot at in 3 countries, built flood walls in towns nobody can spell, and worked with men who'd cut your brakes for a sandwich. Karen Brooks and her crew didn't scare me, they just pissed me off. The next morning, even the gulls were quiet. I'm out on my deck tightening a railing when I hear tires crunching on sand, deliberate, slow, like they want you to know they're coming. Black SUV Shoreline Vista Patrol stenciled on the side. 3 guys hop out, matching polos, tactical belts, the whole mall cop routine. One plants a community enforcement zone sign right in my dune grass, another starts snapping photos of my porch, and the third just stands there, arms crossed like I'm the trespasser. Clipboard guy says, "You've been served notice. Vacate or we escalate." I told him, "You've got 10 seconds to get that sign out of my sand before I toss it in the ocean." He smirks. "That's destruction of association property." So I yank it up and toss it onto my porch. That's called garbage removal. Suddenly they're muttering into radios, looking less cocky. I tell them, "Go ahead, call the sheriff. Tell him you're trespassing and impersonating law enforcement." That wiped the smile off his face. They left quick dust in the air, didn't even take their sign. Now I've learned you don't wait for a flood, you build the levee first. I went straight to my laptop, pulled up the county records. Parcel 944B, my name, my family's deed amended for hurricane code jurisdiction, Unincorporated, not HOA, not even city property. I called my lawyer Sandra. She's a property rights pit bull and she'd seen this before. Document everything she says and keep your cool. They want you to snap. So I did just that. Went into town, bought steel post chains and put up a real barrier. No more HOA golf carts accidentally wandering up my drive. Hung new. No trespassing signs, even one with a rattlesnake and a Second Amendment joke. Then I walked my line with a flashlight, checked every camera. This wasn't paranoia, it was insurance. That night the storm rolled in. Out in the dunes, I saw a figure too small for the patrol boys too fast to catch. Maybe a kid, maybe not. Didn't matter. Message sent. Next morning, here they come again, but this time bigger white pickup full of tools, another black SUV. Karen herself riding shotgun, sipping coffee, like she's headed to brunch. 6 people, her security, 3 workers with crowbars and a hydraulic toolkit. They fan out, start prying at my storm grate. I just stood there, flannel shirt, coffee in hand, letting them feel every step. You're trespassing. You got about 5 seconds to regret it. Karen steps forward, sweet as pie. We're reclaiming the property peacefully. I said, by breaking and entering with a crowbar. She puts on her innocent act. No violence, just community action. I set down my mug, stepped inside, came out with my granddad's Mossberg not pointed, just resting in my arms. The workers froze. Karen's voice went shrill. You're threatening us with a firearm. Nope. I'm standing on my porch, on my land, holding a legal weapon. Y'all are trespassing. She tells her guy, call the police. I beat her to it, 911 on speaker, explaining there's an illegal entry, no shots fired, and yes, I have security footage. The workers start backing up, mumbling about not being paid enough for this. Karen's confidence drains like water down a sink. Deputies show up. They talk to Karen first. She spins her story mascara trembling. When it's my turn, I show them everything, deeds footage, fake notices. After 30 minutes, the deputies tell Karen and her crew to get out, say this is private property, not HOA jurisdiction, and she's lucky I'm not pressing charges. She leaves in a huff, security dragging their hydraulic kit workers peeling out in their truck. I watched them go, wasn't scared, wasn't proud, just tired. But I knew it wasn't over. 3 days, nothing. No SUVs, no notes, just the ocean and the gulls. Then comes a courier, 2 envelopes, one legal notice from the HOA, the other from some Douglas Reed. Turns out, according to this Douglas Reed, I'd sold my cabin for $45,000. There's even a forged deed, my signature glued on, notarized by a guy who'd been dead for 2 years. HOA's letter accused me of brandishing a weapon, intimidating community agents. Pseudo-legal garbage, but dangerous if you don't know better. I called Sandra. She laughed, then got deadly serious. This was fraud, wire fraud, document forgery, maybe racketeering. Reed, we discovered, was just a proxy for the HOA, a shell company deal months in the making. Sandra filed a restraining order, blocked any transfer, reported it all to the authorities. But it didn't stop there. Now the HOA bills me $9,400 for community maintenance. Debt collectors start calling, waving another fake signature. Sandra tells me they're not just stealing your land, they're trying to bury you in fake debt, so when you fight, you look delinquent. That's when I realized it wasn't just me. Dug up old newsletters, found they'd done this to others, an old widower, a single mom, even a Navy vet's family after he died. All forged easements, all fake agreements. Sandra turned everything over to the state prosecutor. We went public. Local news ran the story. Folks from all over started sharing their own HOA horror stories. Kayak fines, forced sales enhancement dues. Karen's name was suddenly everywhere, and not in a way she liked. Then the hammer dropped. Temporary injunction subpoenas, state audit. Karen and her board, served by deputies, their lawyer, gone dark, board members resigning. A whistleblower handed over the emails Karen had a playbook for. This literally a step-by-step for forging docs, burying homeowners, even how to fake sun-faded affidavits. They'd tried to crush me with paperwork, but in the end they sunk themselves. Karen Brooks was arrested just after sunrise news crews, rolling pastel sweater and all. She tried to hide her face, but the charges fraud, forgery, conspiracy, criminal trespass were right there in black and white. The trial was quick. Video evidence, handwriting analysis, former board members flipping on the stand. The jury took 2 hours guilty on all counts. 10 years no parole for 4. Her cronies barred from any HOA ever again. Shoreline Vista's board dissolved. My civil suit landed $760,000 in damages, not that I'd ever sell this place. I built a little pier after all that bolted a plaque on the end, private and always will be. So folks, maybe you've got your own story like mine, maybe you're just watching for the drama. But let me ask you, when is enough enough? How far should we let power push before we push back? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me your HOA nightmares or your victories. Because out here on the edge of the Atlantic, some things like justice, like family, like the smell of cedar and salt ought to be defended, no matter how many times you have to say, "This land is mine."